Welcome to this live video feed. How are we? It's going to be a quick one. We've just come down to the beach and do some training here. It's beautiful. It's as you can see, I don't have to tell you how amazing and wonderful it is. It's sun's out, the ocean's flat, the wind's low. It's just amazing. See yourself to know yourself. See yourself so others can see you in the way you wish to be seen. But see the fullness of who you are. And this is the key. See, when we fracture ourselves and we only see aspects of who we are, so when we see ourselves through the wounded self, or when we see ourselves through a self that is hurt, through a self that is disconnected, we will then attract how others see us in our lives as well. And this is the issue that we face, this is the problem that we face in terms of not being able to completely, deeply connect with others. And we're unable to deeply connect with others because we don't see ourselves in the wholeness of who we are. We only see fragmented aspects of ourselves. And then we move through life and we have experiences that are like on a Ferris wheel, just going round and round and round. They're habitual patterns. We experience these patterns and we wonder why. And we're not able to tap into the various aspects of self. Now, we often use that term to do the work. And what does do the work mean? Sometimes that word work has an unusual connotation associated with it. It means, it implies effort. And to some extent, yes, it does. Like life is effort. Like without effort, we cannot move through the world freely. Without effort, we actually cannot embody what we wish to embody. Without effort, we cannot be the grandest version of ourselves, which means to be present, to be grounded, to be observant, to be clear. In other words, to have or carry clarity within us. So effort is required in life. And work isn't a bad thing. Work is a good thing. Work is a beautiful thing. Work implies that we are interested in the activities that we are focusing on, that we are paying attention to. Work implies that we are present, that we value enough the experiences that we're sharing or that we're engaged in. So work is important. So we need to do the work. We need to unpack the layers of self. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming on. We need to go deep. Unpack the layers. Now this very impromptu, very quick live feed, quick compared to what I normally do, has really been prompted by a beautiful conversation I've been having with a friend this morning, and also actually last night, two different people, and the interesting thing is that we move through life with sometimes with ease and sometimes with a seamlessness and a glory amongst our movement, amongst our perceptions, and in other times we move through life with great challenge and great difficulty, and that's almost the balance of life. And if we can come to peace with that, we actually lessen the highs and lessen the lows as well, or the intensity of that, which is a beautiful thing actually. We are able to grasp the magic in the moment. Now, here's the thing with work, like we need to go deep. And we need to continue to go deep. And it's not a journey for everyone. It's a very challenging, deeply challenging path. It's work per se. It's effort. And in that effort, when we exude that effort, we will experience hardship. And most of us, we don't want the hardship for so many different reasons. One, because it hurts, it's painful, it's sad, it brings up a lot of old stuff. It brings up stuff that's in the closet, that's locked away. And we don't know how to deal with it. We don't know how to move through it. And the reality is that it's challenging, it's difficult. And the reality is that it's going to be. And it almost needs to be in order for us to really connect to it, to equilibrate it, to allow it to neutralize so that it does not control us unconsciously or consciously. It does not control our movement through life, our relationships, the way we connect to others, the way we love, the way we share love, the way we share ourselves with the world. This is the problem. So we have to, and the problem is also an opportunity. See, problems can be puzzles, and we just have to put the puzzles together. And when we put the puzzles together, we get a whole picture of what we are looking at, or what we are observing, or what we are connecting to, or what we are feeling. And what we are feeling, essentially, is the fullness and the wholeness of who we are. So this becomes very interesting, but we have to do the work. We have to deep dive into self. We have to unpack the layers. We have to know ourselves. We have to see ourselves. My friend said to me this morning, I feel like people don't see me for me. My response was, are you seeing yourself for you? Are you seeing yourself for who you truly are? And her response was, yes, I feel I do. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, because it may not be. But can we go deeper? Can we continue to unpack? And sometimes going deeper isn't necessarily taking action and actually going deeper. Sometimes it's just being with the layers that we are experiencing in the present moment. And by being with the layers that we are experiencing, by being present to that, we actually naturally just go deeper. It unfolds. It unfolds almost organically. So by being present, so when I say go deep, when I say do the work, it's not necessarily having to take massive transformative action. The transformative action that is almost relentless, the transformative action can come in the form of passivity, of just being present, of just observing. And then observing the observation, observing yourself, observing what you are observing, observing the process of observation as well. And it almost sounds a little bit convoluted, but it's not. And I'll tell you why it's not. It's not because it's simple. It is us being present to what we are feeling and not ignoring and suppressing, not oppressing ourselves, not suppressing feelings, emotional states, memories, ideas, belief systems, relationships that have hurt us, that have caused upheaval in our being. And rather than not being present to that, rather than ignoring that, we embrace that and we learn from it and we grow. And that's the key. When we learn, we grow. And we grow, we break through, and we transform. When we transform, what we're essentially doing is we are leaving an old state behind, or we are moving through an undesirable state into a desirable state of being. An undesirable state is one that does not serve us anymore, one that keeps us under constant tension, one that, and I mean physiologically and emotionally and psychologically as well, and relationally. Our relationships suffer. We begin to notice patterns. Sometimes doing the work is just, hey, asking yourself, what pattern am I noticing right now in life? What pattern is emerging constantly, consistently? What patterns are driving me away from where I truly wish to be in life? I'm at South Beach in Fremantle. This is my local Emma. And this is a blessing to be here. So when we're looking at these patterns and we're asking ourselves, how are these patterns affecting my relationship? How are these patterns affecting me? How are these patterns affecting my growth and my movement through life? We begin to gain clarity on where we are and who we are. So that transcending is leaving the old behind and emerging to something new. But, here it is. We take the lessons, we take the value, we take the wisdom from the old, and we bring that into the new, redefined expression of self. Vanessa, absolutely, I'm going to go in. I'm going to do some training as well. So I've got my kettlebells here. I don't know if you can see them. There's some kettlebells there. I'm going to do some movement today, this morning. So feeling very happy about that. And last night, speaking to a very close friend of mine, who's moved through some traumatic stuff. You know, essentially the last 30 years of his life, but even so the last few years. To unpack that, it's difficult. To go into the shadow aspect of that is deeply confronting and painful. And most people will struggle, most of us will struggle deeply to go into that. And we need support. There's a myriad of factors that are involved with what's going to allow you to move through something or a difficult experience with greater efficacy, or move through it with deep experiential pain. So here it is, redefining our values, how we view the world, redefining who we are and what we think is true and what we value most will really allow us to move through these painful times, through these difficulties. It will allow us to gain clarity on who we are and how we choose to move through the world, and importantly, where we want to focus our attention, where we wish to focus our growth. Because when we begin to focus on what allows us to grow, which is doing the deep work, which focuses on us as whole beings instead of us as fractured or fragmented beings, that begins to change the way we relate to ourselves and to others. We begin to see ourselves differently. See, I've had moments in my life where I felt I've really done the work, I've gone deep, and then have realized I have not. And I've realized that, unfortunately or fortunately, through a deeply rude awakening, an intense awakening, which has been fucking painful to say the least. But we don't know what we don't know. But here it is. If we consciously choose to explore ourselves, to explore every facet of who we are, just ask the questions, the answers will come. Or rather, the journey will unfold and unravel as it needs to. That becomes deeply empowering and enlightening for us and for those in our lives as well. And then we begin instead of attracting or bringing in experiences, patterns in our lives, habits, so habitual experiences, repetitive experiences around the aspects or attracting aspects or reflections of self that we don't value or that is polarized, we begin to balance that. And we'll notice the caliber of people that come into our lives and the different types of people that come into our lives and the lessons and the wisdom they can impart and what they can teach us. So do the work. In other words, just explore self, be with self, love self, connect to self, see self for all that you are, see the various layers on and aspects of self as well. And everything that occurs in life, there is great opportunity for growth and for introspection and for insight into who we are as beings, into who we are as people that care and love and move through the world in a way that, all we want to do is connect. All we want to do is be seen, and we want to see others as well, so that we can ultimately learn and grow from that tremendously as well. So just a short one today on that, and a short one on being seen, and allow yourself to be seen by seeing yourself. And again, it's sometimes not easy. We have trauma to deal with. We have deep issues and layers of experiences that we have to move through to get to any point of reconciliation within self. And again, it's not always easy, but begin somewhere and surround yourself with people that will support your journey, with information and an environment that will support your journey as well. Allow you to be a fuller version of yourself, not a fractured, fragmented version of yourself. And just be well and be brilliant, and many blessings on your day, on your evening, wherever you are in the world. And if you resonate with this message, share. Diana, hello, how are you? And again, just remember, just to remind you that I'll be coming live from my Facebook page in the next few weeks, as well as a primary source of where I'll be coming live from. Also on here, of course, because I've got a software that interlinks everything. But yes, have a beautiful day, people. And remember, the journey of self can be a treacherous one, can be a difficult one, but it can also be beautifully rewarding as well. And that's the balance of life. That is the reality of duality that we live in as well. So many blessings, many blessings, and I'll see you soon.